welcome to another episode of, you guessed it, The Shirtless Painter. Anyone can paint, and anyone can paint anything, including my guest today, my good friend, singer, songwriter, and artist, Aimee Mann. Aimee, thanks so much for joining us
Thanks
today.
for having me.
I understand that you have a new record that you're excited about that you wanted to, to share with us.
I actually have 3 of them. I just got this. This is a classic Cat Stevens, and Chic, which is a big influence on my bass playing, and Fugazi, which Ted Leo told me to get.
I was sort of more wondering about the new record that you made, which I happen to have because I'm a fan, which is called Mental Illness.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Sort of a little guy hiding in there. Uh-oh. Well, you know what? Call me crazy or don't, because it's offensive, but what if we painted mental illness?
I would love to do that.
I invite you to take off your shirt and paint along with us as we paint mental illness. Let's jump right in.
I wore a sweater today, sort of in contrast, but maybe to complement your shirtless nature.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad we didn't end up wearing the same thing. That would be embarrassing.
You know, I wanted to start with orange because orange is the color of anxiety, and so that just underpins everything. But, you know, just got to make some decisions about what goes on top of anxiety. Like
so anxiety is sort of the crust of the pizza in this case, and then it's just a matter of choosing your toppings.
Yeah,
the
your
sauce
toppings.
And the cheese. And
like, does depression cover anxiety? Is there something that causes it? I think I'll maybe try to paint like what causes anxiety. Like, what does anxiety look like?
It just because mental illness there's nothing simple about it. You know, it's sort of something that needs to be unraveled. It's sort of a maze. So I think I'm going to sort of just kind of make sort of a little maze here, sort of just using brain colors. I've got sort of a gray matter background going here, and I'm just getting some of my brain pink here, and I'm just going to start doing some brain lines. Brain wrinkles, if you will.
Now I might be using you as a bit of a model for my...
Please, feel free. I would be honored.
For my anxiety personified.
A real doctor did once tell me that I was crazy about painting, so I did not seek treatment. Do you think there's any, correlation between mental illness and creative genius?
I mean, I never found, depression or anxiety to be particularly helpful. Depression especially, if you depress all your feelings, I mean, you're going to depress your creative instincts too, I think.
It's tough too, if you're feeling depressed. My morning routine is I jump out of bed or in my little area that I have as a bed, and I immediately start painting. But if I'm feeling depressed, it's tough to even want to get out of bed and start the painting. So in my experience, I agree. It doesn't help you any to be feeling depressed.
That's exactly.
It's sort of a myth.
That's exactly my experience. All right, so I made my representation of anxiety. I was going to give it a little beard, a sort of devilish beard. I think I'm going to lean away from that.
Anxiety is a tricky little devil, that's for sure. Maybe I'll add the devil in here in my maze. So I'm going to go. So I've got my maze started here. I'm going to go ahead and add some sort of players in the race here. And we'll go ahead and get some of our devil red. And I'm going to go ahead and just have the devil sort of at the starting line here.
Yeah, so we both have a little devilish, maybe kind of intersection of, that darker where mental illness almost feels like something outside of you, something demonic.
Something sort of chasing you is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, this is sort of my idea, is that this guy, he's the guy who's always yelling at you that you're not good enough, things that happened in the past that you can't seem to forget. He's always there.
Oh, he's just a couple steps behind you, breathing down your neck with his old sour breath. His or hers. The devil can be a man or a woman.
We're not sexist with our demonic images.
We're scared to death of the devil, but we ain't sexist. So I mean, you've been doing music for a long time. Well, what got you started as a performer?
I went to music school. I had this vague idea that I might be talented, even though there wasn't any evidence for it, and I was always a big believer in learning, and I wanted to see if maybe by learning about music I would know if I had any aptitude for it. And I sort of told myself that, I'll keep going until it's obvious that I'm just getting nowhere. But I kept getting somewhere.
And the good news is, I don't think anyone is utterly unable to make art. I like to say that anyone can paint and anyone can paint anything, and I think that extends to music and dance and all of the arts. It's like you're not necessarily going to be, Baryshnikov, who I believe is some sort of art person. I don't know who, what his deal is or hers, but you don't have to be Baryshnikov or Picasso or David Byrne or even,
some other Davids.
Some other Davids. You don't have to be the statue of David or anything with your little pee-pee hanging.
You have to be the actual statue.
You just got to try.
You do it, you practice, you get better. But that was the thing that was a real discovery to me about music. I sort of thought you just either were talented or not. And the idea that you could practice certain things was really interesting to me.
Mm.
So I've got my creepy face of the past, the face of the internal critic, the face of anxiety. Maybe now I'll put some depression in.
Mm. Seems like as good a time as any to add the...
I think depression needs probably a big brush.
It certainly operates in broad strokes on people's lives. So I'm actually I've got my little devil character here, and I'm really sort of... Mine's turning into almost sort of a Pac-Man or a Ms. Pac-Man board, where the devil is going to be in hot pursuit of, our protagonist, which I'm gonna have be represented by a little mouse, because sometimes that's what you feel like. You feel like you're up against, a lot, and you don't have a lot to defend yourself with. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add our little mouse. And we're gonna give the little mouse a head start, because personally I'm rooting for the mouse, not the devil. Just add our little mouse friend there.
This is turning into kind of a watery scene, because it sort of makes me think of, I read somewhere where if you dream of water, that's supposed to be, your subconscious. If you dream about flooding, it's like a fear of being flooded by emotion, a fear of being overtaken by your feelings. That kind of stands. I think that...
Yeah, I think it checks out.
So maybe it gets darker at the very bottom, where all the scary things are. This face I painted is really creeping me out.
Just have to sneak a peek. Boy, you're already painting a really good painting.
It's very disturbing.
It's not a race, but I think Aimee might be in the lead. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I've been focusing a lot on the mental illness itself, but a big part of mental illness is sort of, finding your way out of the woods. So I'm gonna sort of create just sort of a center of hope here, just to kind of.
Mine's getting less hopeful.
And that's okay,
I decided to give him a weirdly creepily long neck. I don't know why. It's making me feel uneasy.
I mean, giraffes are I love them, no offense, but they're some of the weirdest animals, there.
Don't kid yourself. Giraffes are strange.
Yeah, let's not mince words here, okay? We love them, we don't want to speak ill of them, but they're strange birds.
All right, I'm going to try to put an octopus in here. I can't really remember what they look like. I know they're sort of a blob with
I know they have like upwards of somewhere
7,000 legs.
Yeah, 5,000 to 7,000, somewhere in that range. But you know what? The beauty of octopuses or pie when you're painting them is you can kind of give them however many legs you want.
He's very worried. You know why? Because he's under the sea. A sea that's made up entirely of your weird feelings and subconscious meanderings.
So I'm going to go ahead and create a light at the end of the tunnel.
I feel like yours is very positive.
Well, there is a devil in there, so don't count me out just yet. Things could still get...
Don't count me out.
Things could still get weird. So some people say that songs are like children.
Oh my God. Can I?
Oh, please help yourself.
Use this guy. I need to cover a lot of ground.
What's mine is yours.
I don't feel like songs are like children because that just seems to really undervalue children, who I believe are human beings.
But I mean, Purple Haze, come on. That's better than some kids.
There are definitely some children that Purple Haze beats out.
All right, so I was sort of inspired by taking a peek at yours to kind of get my act together here a little bit. And
sometimes other people's mental problems can be an inspiration.
It's true.
Don't let this happen to you. There but for the grace of God.
I think that's very true. Has there ever been any tragic figure or artist or anything that inspired you through their mental anguish?
Well, I was a big fan of Elliott Smith, and I do feel like he was very troubled, and I, really had a lot of sympathy for what he was going through. And I did find him very inspiring as an artist because I felt like he really told it like it was. Like he really talked about things that were difficult, that were very real to him. And that, that alone was very inspiring and also very positive.
I think so too. And he did, he left us behind with a lot of good music, which is a very generous stamp to leave on the world, I think. Okay, so I'm just sort of creating a little face in the center here, and this is meant to be sort of just a welcoming, sort of nice presence in the center of all this chaos.
I do appreciate you trying to continually interject a happier note, which so far I have not been able to do. So far, bemusement is as close as I can get with this little guy.
A friend of mine told me that if humans died out, the octopus would be sort of the next to evolve to take over. Yeah.
We've had our chance.
Yeah. People say a lot of racist things about other races of humanity sort of causing problems for us, and I mean I think that's bogus. But I think if you gotta keep your eye on somebody, hey, maybe watch watch out for these octopus characters that are sort of looming, because they might really be after our jobs. Next week you might see an octopus painting with however many arms they have. It's anyone's guess.
I can't be responsible for
it's not your
everybody's
job.
amount of arms.
No. You got a busy enough schedule.
Okay, I don't know what to paint on top. Is it the land? I guess it's land.
Sometimes land can be up there, yeah.
What color is land?
If you take a handful of it, it's usually kind of brown.
I'm going to go in and just mush some stuff around and see if I can get a brown shoreline. All right, that's kind of, well, let's see what happens. No, that is not good. I don't know, it's harder to make brown than you think. You know what I just did? I just made flesh color. I made the exact flesh color. All right, so be it. You know, sometimes the painting itself dictates what it's going to be.
Yeah. Paintings have their own agendas sometimes.
Sometimes your own accidents just say, this is where we're going.
Yep, and there's a little saying I have on the show, which is that there are no goof-ups, only pleasant whoopsies. So that could qualify as one.
I don't know if I'd call it a pleasant whoopsie, but
A whoopsie.
it's very, what I'm making is very unpleasant in general.
So this might be our first unpleasant whoopsie. And you know what?
feel like-
That's okay.
Yeah,
There's certainly no whoopsies within the realm of whoopsies. Who am I to say that there's a right way or a wrong way?
sort of enjoying it though. There's something about this fleshy, it's kind of like now the wind's blowing. Kind of digging it. It's a windstorm of flesh tone.
That sounds like it could be an album title.
Like a Rod McEwen album. I know nobody in this room will know what that is.
Sound off if you know about Rod McEwen. Let us know. And Rod, if you're out there, if you're still with us, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing something right.
So below is depression, secret sadnesses. On top, windstorms. To your left, in the past, some guys giving you the hairy eyeball.
Always some guy out there ready to give you the hairy eyeball.
Yeah.
I think they can take a hike, personally. Just add a little bit of the black bile that the devil sort of shoots out after you when you're feeling depressed, when you're feeling anxious. It's sort of just like the devil is, it's like the devil's following you with like a big super soaker and just sort of spraying you with just awful stuff over and over, and he won't let up. And you run, but you're just getting soaked, and your clothes are wet, and it just makes you run slower. So that's what I'm sort of adding here, and I'm using my big brush to kind of do that.
I'm adding shrubbery to my...
It's kind of nice. Now who's painting
Yeah, now who's
the
not...
nice stuff?
Well, the sort of trees that are getting blown around by the wind.
Okay, great. So we got our black sludge here, sort of closing in on the little mouse. And as you can see, I have sort of my maze here, and I have this sort of goal of happiness here, but as of right now, there is no way out. The mouse is trapped. There's no escape, which I imagine is how this mouse is feeling right now, but we'll see if we can't help him out.
Trying to shade my octopus a little bit.
Someone once told me that if you want to paint, if you want to be a painter, you have to enjoy the smell of turpentine, because that's what you use to clean brushes when you're oil painting. And you know what I say to that person? Joke's on you. We're using acrylic, so
Yeah,
you
you're
don't smell nothing.
This
Yeah.
washes out with water.
Yeah.
I don't even have to use soap.
Nope. Good, clean American tap water.
All right, I have made something that is really kind of creepy, and I'm not really sure where to take it next.
Just kind of rolling with the punches. Now, Amy, speaking of rolling with the punches, I read somewhere that you are interested in boxing. Is that true?
Yeah, I used to train at a boxing gym.
Sometimes I wonder how long I would last in the ring, either in, boxing or ultimate fighting. Or I figure I have my shirt off already, so
You're pretty close, yeah.
It wouldn't be that hard to kind of get at least technically ready to go out there, technically on a very surface level. But I do kind of fear that I might die instantly, even just before being touched. I think just kind of being out there might do me in. But
well, I sparred a little bit, and honestly, just putting the headgear on is so claustrophobic that you already go into a panic. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as people start punching you in the face.
Right, I imagine that doesn't
help. Yeah, it's really like, but that's the interesting thing about it, is that it teaches you how to continue with your plan, even though, very difficult things are still happening. Mm-hmm. So I found it very useful. A lot of life lessons. Mm. One of those, I think that this is a kind of a general lesson that, even with mental illness is helpful, is to, something happens, you get hit, it's not fun, you just have to let it go and keep moving forward.
Speaking of moving forward, I've just been painting sort of a little car, Stuart Little car of another mouse, because sometimes if you're feeling unhappy, you can kind of sometimes you look at other people and you think they've got it all figured out. They're zooming along through life.
That mouse has a better car than you.
Yeah, mm-hmm. This mouse has a better car. My mouse has no car. He's walking, or she. And so the mouse is kind of looking at this peer who seems to have it all. Fast car, but they're both outrunning the devil. That's really what it boils down to. And if this mouse's car breaks down, who's got the upper hand? The one who's been used to walking and running all the time, or the one who's had the luxury of a car?
Yeah. You have mice in your studio?
Oh yeah. But, I set up little sort of easels and stuff for them in the hopes, I haven't seen any of them painting, but it would be my dream to, sort of, have the lights out one night and look over in a corner and see a mouse just doing a little painting. That's my hope. I don't want to exterminate them or kill them or anything.
You're not ruling it out.
Not ruling it out. I know it's not likely, but it sure would be cool to see.
I've been admiring your posture.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like it's not that easy to maintain good posture while painting.
Yeah, people have chimed in about...
I have a tendency to hunch over.
People have definitely chimed in about my posture, and I try not to let people's criticisms get to me, but people have tried to
They're trying to undermine your posture.
They tried to insinuate by flat out saying it that I have bad posture, so I've tried to work on it.
I 100% disagree with that assessment.
Thank you. Aimee Mann likes it, you guys, so F off. Just kidding.
Yeah, I hate to see my posture next to yours. It's going to be, what would they say?
I shudder to think, but let them talk, I think my painting is, I don't want to say nearing an end because, these challenges never end, so long as we're alive. So I don't want to say that, but
personal issues never end.
And you'll notice I never did quite add an exit to the maze, because sometimes there just isn't a clear one. Sometimes you just have to keep running, keep driving, and just keep trusting that if you go forward and do your best and try to be, happy and healthy and treat others well, then life can be good. But then life can be bad too, so who's to say?
Yeah, I think I may be nearing the end also, because everything I do makes it more and more unpleasant.
We've got our main mouse, we've got the devil on his back, and we've got our sort of competitor mouse, but I think another thing to keep in mind if you're struggling for mental illness is that there are people out there who can be your friend. So I'm going to add someone who I think is very friendly and probably would be this mouse's friend, and that's my wife. So I'm going to go ahead and just...
I wonder if I should add some teeth. I mean,
I'm all for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Christ. This is really taking a turn.
If it gets too scary, just let me know. We could call it at any moment. We don't want to... Okay, so...
This is taking a turn that's making me laugh.
Just adding my wife here, and she's going to be represented as a mouse in keeping with the theme, because sometimes we all feel like little rodents sort of rustling around through life, scrounging for anything to keep us going.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll just be... Might have to embellish the length of a mouse's hand, but she's going to be just sort of reaching out her hand, just in case the little mouse should want to reach for it. So we'll give her her beautiful black eyes there. And of course, red lips.
This is a mouse. This is a lady mouse.
This is a lady mouse, yeah. And all of them could be lady mice,
Mm-hmm. I'm going for the gender stereotypes.
Right. In fact, I'll just go ahead and add lipstick to all the mice. Why not?
Little pop of color.
Yeah, why not?
Brighten
This
her
one will
day.
match. This little mouse has a nice red car that now matches cherry red lips.
He does have curly hair, because I did start with you as a model, but I don't want you to think at this point that there's any resemblance.
Hey, look, a modeling gig is a modeling gig, I'll take what I can get. Okay. I think the journey of my painting has come to not a close, but I've sort of closed the loop to just sort of represent that it will continue on.
Yeah, I think
As
mine
long as these mice live.
is also, there's a little sun coming out in the corner. Things got a little brighter, maybe. Perhaps all is not lost.
And, Aimee, I just want to thank you so much again for joining me today.
Shirtless, thank you so much for having me. This is really fun.
I'm a painter by trade. I don't really dabble in this very often, but I was inspired by you, and I was wondering if you would indulge me and just let me sing a little song that I wrote myself.
Yeah, I can't wait. I am a shirtless painter. I live in a black void space. I'm frightened by the devil, and I'm drawn to those who like to paint. Okay.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.